What's going on, YouTube people? All right, today we're going to be doing a coolant flush and refill on 2014 Toyota Tundra 5.7 liter. I think you're gonna need about, I think it's 3 containers. I got 6, and then I've got 4 gallons of water. That's an empty jug. 4 gallons of distilled water for the flush. I've already done a flush video, but this is going to be the first coolant video that I do where I actually drain the engine and the radiator instead of just the radiator. So first thing we're going to do really quick is I'm going to grab my pan here and get underneath and drain the coolant while it's still warm, and then I'm going to jack up the entire vehicle, and because I'm actually going to rotate my tires as well. So if I wasn't rotating my tires, I would only have to do the front, wouldn't have to do the whole thing. Okay. All right. But it's going to take a really long time for all this fluid to drain out, which is why I'm just trying to get it started right now. Meanwhile, I've already broken all the lug nuts loose, so I'm just going to jack this thing up. I'm going to show you guys how to get to the drain ports for the engine on both sides of the vehicle, and obviously we're going to drain all that and then fill up the entire thing with water, distilled water, and run it and let it run for a little while, probably about 10 minutes, let it get up to like temperature where it's supposed to be, and then we'll drain that and then put the new stuff in. So it's going to be a process, but stay tuned. So all right, so we have drained all here. Oh Jesus. All of the fluid is out of the radiator. And now, if I can clean this lens off a little bit, I tighten this back up. Just hand tight. And now we get to go on the adventure of locating the I need to get my flashlight. Where is my flashlight? All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we had some pretty interesting experiences trying to locate this drain port for the coolant. I don't think I wasn't able to find. Let me see if I can. No, I wasn't able to find anything that really looked like a drain plug for on the side of the motor. I went underneath looking around as well, couldn't find anything, couldn't locate anything. So just a massive heat shield in the way here. I mean, there could be something behind all this stuff, but for the sake of not delving too deeply into it, we're just going to do the radiator. A lot of the stuff I've read online, because I did do some research to try to find out if you could drain this one. The only thing I found, one guy, he had a 4.6 liter V8, and it has a little drain cogs on the side, or drain ports or whatever on the side. This might have the same thing, but it might be behind so much stuff. Or I mean, it might not have one at all. You know, his was an older generation. His was a 2nd gen. I think mine's a 3rd gen. So, he did a good video though, but it's just, on this truck, it's like, sorry about that, I'm trying to find it, it's impossible. There's too much crap in the way, and I'm not I'm not taking it that far. So we're just gonna do the radiator flush and refill. The coolant, I mean, it was fine. It was red. It was the original Toyota red. So I don't have any questions about the quality of the coolant that I got out. I'm sure it looked fine. It's not gonna look good in the pan because the pan, I used the same pan for some oil change yesterday. So it's gonna look nasty right now. But I looked at it in the reservoir. There's probably still some in there. Nah, but it's been doing fine. It's not some odd color. It's not like somebody took some other type of coolant and ran it through this thing. So I don't have any worries about that. So we're just gonna flush it out with some distilled water. Or I'm gonna pour it in there, turn it on, burp it a little bit with the distilled water, let it sit for a bit, and then drain it out, and then put some new stuff in, call it a day. So. Because the system allows you to keep an airtight seal here. And you see it's done doing its thing. If you had actual like coolant in here right now, you could plug that and then pull this whole thing up, and then you wouldn't have any little spills or anything. So it's pretty awesome. I'm gonna turn the vehicle on. See, that's a really great thing about this system. Since it's tight, airtight, you leave a little bit in the top, and it's just the same as having the actual seal on it or whatever. So I'm gonna put a little bit more water in there, and then turn this thing on. I'm gonna let it run for about 10 minutes, and then come back and drain all of the water out. It's important to note as the system runs. See, I'm just squeezing the hose right now to get some of the air pockets out. But as the system runs, it's going to suck some of this water down. So you don't want to leave it for too long. You kind of want to keep an eye on it to make sure that you keep the water level. You make sure you keep this thing full of water while it's self-burping is really what it's doing. It's moving all of the fluid, all of the coolant inside of the system, and as it's moving the fluid, it's getting the air up and out of the system, which is essentially what this tank is for as well. Because if you notice, the tube right here on the side of your tank is just open. So it's self-burping. So it's not like your old style, like sealed up tight. It's going to have air bubbles in it. No, this system will actually work the air bubbles out of itself as it goes, as you drive it. But while you're doing this flush, you want to keep a good eye on that thing right there. So, all right. So we just got done running it. Let it get up to temperature and then run for about 10 minutes. Allowed that fluid, that water, that distilled water to cycle its way through. Pretty good. I'll get back down under here, and I'm going to loosen the petcock device. It's going to be hot this time, so do be careful. You could injure yourself with hot water. Oh, Jesus. Very hot, yes, very hot. It's actually not that hot. But I mean, I looked at the temperature gauge in there, and it got right up to normal temperature, and it sat there for a good 10 minutes. So I didn't rev it up any or anything, but well. And now we wait for all this stuff to drain out. This is really the biggest part of doing these coolant jobs or radiator jobs or whatever. It's just time consuming. You gotta drain it all out, and then you gotta fill it up, then you gotta let it sit, you gotta let it circulate, and then you gotta drain it out again. I mean, if you want to do like a good flush and refill. So some people just drain and refill it, and they're just like, oh well. I mean, I don't subscribe to that idea. So, but stay tuned. We'll finish this up. As long as the water doesn't look too bad coming out, I'm just gonna fill it up with a Toyota 50/50 coolant, and that's gonna be it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a Toyota 50/50 pre-diluted antifreeze, pink red, whatever. It's, you know, it's for this vehicle. So I'm gonna fill up the radiator, fill up the reservoir, leave a little bit of fluid on the top of the radiator, turn it on, let it kind of burp itself, sit here for a little while. Then I'm going to, after it burps itself, turn it off, put the cap back on, the factory cap, make sure the reservoir is topped off where it's supposed to be. Not completely full, like I think it's about 3/4 full, and you just put your little cap back on. And then we're going to drive it around and see if the reservoir goes down, or, you know, it will go down. See how much it goes down, I guess. And then that will conclude our video. So same process here as what you would basically do with the water, monitoring that as it, you know, does its burping. Just so you guys know, the fill line is on this side of the tank, and you can see I filled it up to full, which is roughly 3/4 of the way up. So I'm just gonna hang out for a little bit and monitor the system as it burps itself. And after it's sat for about 10 minutes, shut it down, put my cap back on, and take it for a little drive around the block for a few minutes. Come back and see how I'll probably need to add a little bit more to the reservoir at that point, but after that we'll be done. Well, level hasn't changed much yet. Well, for now, that will conclude the service on our the coolant service on our 2014 Toyota Tundra. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you out. I hate that I wasn't able to drain the engine block as well, because I was kind of wanting to do that, since I had found some references that showed that it could be done pretty easily. But this particular generation and engine, it just seemed, I just couldn't find it. Hope you guys out there have better luck finding where you can drain the engine of coolant at, because I wasn't about to go looking, and what I was looking for definitely wasn't there. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment any questions you have below. I'll try to link most of the stuff that I use today. Probably just get, you know, the basic tools and everything that you'll need to do this job. But again, thanks guys. I'll see you later.